So this week I'm talking with colleagues at a new job, and we're talking about finding out the sex of developing human babies, fetuses, and aborting the females because the children bring dishonor to the family in that particular culture. Um, I feel that if I was involved in the conversation and the assignment says that it was discussed with approval from all team members, then by all rights that I should, provide my point of view and how I feel about the situation. I feel that from the textbook that we are in a masculine culture, and one of the characteristics of a masculine culture was to confront conflicts, and this might be a conflict in the office that you're speaking with in at work. One of the things to remember is exactly what culture is. It's a lifestyle group and a people passed on from generation to generation. Um, as you start talking about this, I think that it's important that you realize the importance of culture in your communications. You got to realize that it wasn't what it was 30 years ago. The culture is being globalized now. We're seeing many more cultures being introduced to us more than even just 10 years ago, just with the introduction of the internet and webcams now. So you got to be kind of sensitive to other cultures, how they believe. Obviously, those cultures that believe that the females bring dishonor to their families, they believe that way for a reason. Their religious beliefs, the way that they were, their heritage, their history, it's there for a reason. Just as my beliefs believe that I think that's wrong for them to do that, I'm sure they think that I do things that are wrong in their eyes. That a lot of what Western society does in the eyes of Eastern cultures, those that usually believe that the females bring dishonor to their family, a lot of what the Western tradition does is bring dishonor to their families. That's why a lot of times you see a lot of Eastern um, cultures that do migrate to the United States do so out of shame because they can't go back to their country. They've shamed their family. They dishonored their family. And once again, that's a culture sensitivity that I think that we have here in the United States that's going to help in the situations like that. As I move forward and start discussing this issues with my coworkers, I would, kind of prepare myself. I need to recognize my own fears, of how I act inappropriately towards members of those cultures. I may say things that offend them, and I need to be aware of those. I need to recognize the differences between me and that culture as well before I start interjecting my religious beliefs and how I want them to view how they shouldn't have to choose their child's future based on the sex before it's even born, before that child even has a chance to come into this world and make a difference. I believe that you should have the opportunity to bring every child into this world, no matter what conditions they were conceived under, whether it be a male or a female. I believe that every child should have an opportunity in this world to provide happiness to their parents, and their parents should have an obligation to that child to provide some level of living social situations for them. So that's my 2 cents worth on this week's